Get sturdy as fuck.
This is it.
I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you. And baby, even on the worst nights, I'm into you.
What's going on, everybody? This is the Watchlist Podcast, Episode 1. This is your co-host, Reed Jones, coming at you live. Joining me today is the other co-host of the Watchlist Podcast, Joe Sauce. Joe Sauce, what's going on today, man? Let the people know
What's
who
up?
you are. Let the people know what's going on.
What's going on, Reed? How you been?
Been good, man. Just, been ready to get this podcast started and ready for Episode 1.
Yeah.
We've got a jam-packed Episode 1 for the people today. But before we get into all that, Joe Sauce, this is a movie podcast. This is a TV podcast. How about you go ahead and let all of our watchers and listeners know exactly what got you into movies, what some of your favorite movies, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh man, I could go on forever with favorite movies, but I think what really started my passion for film is I remember seeing The Dark Knight when I was 16, and that just I don't know, something in my head clicked into this is incredible. I saw it on IMAX in Atlantic City with a bunch of my friends, and it was just it was something I never at first, I remember when I was a kid, I always loved to watch, to be entertained. I always loved to entertain. One of my first movies that really got me was Edward Scissorhands. Did you ever see Edward Scissorhands?
Oh, love that movie. Tim Burton.
Okay. So yeah,
Love
Tim
that
Burton.
movie.
So that movie scarred me for life. I was maybe 4 or 5 when I first saw that. I had a VHS tape that had Home Alone and Edward Scissorhands on the same VHS. So I would watch Home Alone because I loved Home Alone. I would watch Home Alone and it would go right into Edward Scissorhands. And sometimes I would just let it play. And Edward Scissorhands scared the living shit out of me. I would have nightmares for weeks and weeks of Edward Scissorhands. And as I got older, I started watching it more. Because I like the way I don't know if I like the way it made me feel, but it kind of gave me the escapism to a movie that I never had before. So Edward Scissorhands is a top movie for me.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it now. It's so unique, so different. That's one of my favorites. And then Dark Knight. I've always been a big Batman fan, big superhero fan. Dark Knight, Heath Ledger, the Joker. I mean, tells all this time.
Yep.
Everybody says the same thing. It put me on another level for my passion in movies. And then I went back and watched so many different movies from 16 to in my mid 20s. I was watching everything I could get my hands on. And then streaming came out and just progressed from there. And now I just, AMC A-list, I see 10, 12 movies a month. And in theaters anyway. And then that's it, man. I mean, I've always. Then I went to school for.
I see your
production.
letterbox. I see your letterbox.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school for production. I went to school for for editing. I went to school for directing and stuff. Obviously, I worked for Bravo a little bit in my early 20s. I did some editing for Bravo. After that, it wasn't
Okay.
I tried to expand my horizons. There wasn't much in the industry. It's a very competitive industry. And then I ended up being an electrician. So right in my field of my passion for movies. That's how I ended up. But I'm still passionate about movies. I love everything about all the nerd stuff, all the the critics' choice movies, all that stuff. Love all of it. And that's pretty much it, man. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely can understand that. Edward Scissorhands definitely threw me for a loop as a kid, and then I didn't even realize that it was Anthony Michael Hall was
Yeah.
the boyfriend until a much older age when I like
Yeah.
was able to watch Breakfast Club. For me, I'd say two or three things kind of like
Alan
really
Arkin's in that
set
too.
me up. One, I'm 23, so I was yeah, Alan Arkin is the dad of
Yeah.
Winona Ryder and stuff, which
Yeah.
is like crazy to
Yeah.
think about. Like when you're young, like seeing a movie when you're young, and then when you're older, able to see some movies, and then you go back and watch the movie that you hadn't watched since you were young, and you were like,
Yeah.
wait, how did I not know that this was Alan Arkin the whole time? How did I not know
Yeah.
this was Anthony Michael Hall the whole time? But for me, I
Exactly.
would
Yeah.
say I'm kind of blessed being 23 that I was able to really grow up with the Marvel movies. Like I was explaining to you before we started recording, the first Iron Man came out when I was 6.5, 7. Somehow convinced my mom to let me go. And then Endgame came out 2 weeks before I graduated high school. So like the true like
That's
Infinity
crazy.
Saga of the MCU was really like my childhood to like, hey, I'm graduating high school, I'm going off to college, I'm going into adulthood. So that kind of like really encapsulated me with like movies and like theories and casting and fan casts and stuff like that.
What year
I
was
would
that?
say the two
Endgame.
or three other movies outside of the MCU as a whole. 2019. 2019 was Endgame. I skipped my senior prom to go to the midnight premiere.
What year was it?
So that just shows you exactly how high school went for me. 2019.
2019. Okay. So I had just turned 30.
But yeah, I was 17. Um
Yeah.
to put in perspective. But at the end of the
That
day,
that's our age
the
difference.
the
We
two or three
cover
other movies other than the MCU.
we cover
Hey, it's
a
Bob
large
Fox and
base.
it's Clem. Look,
Yeah,
that's
basically,
what
yeah.
that's
Basically.
shout out my mom's basement. It's Rob Fox and it's Clem. But I'd say the two to three other movies that really kind of like got me
love the
into
basement.
movies and film was uh I saw The Truman Show for the first time when I was like 15, 16. That's
Great
still
movie.
my favorite movie to this day. That kind of like really opened my eyes to like mind bends and storytelling and however you perceive an actor, they can do more than just the general perception of them. Because like growing up, all I had seen Jim Carrey in was like Ace Ventura, Dumb and Dumber, The Grinch, The
Yeah,
Mask, and stuff. And then
yeah,
to see
yeah.
him in the Truman Show really like opened my eyes.
Who directed
My
that?
dad showed me the Blues Brothers. He was a big Truman Show. Um, I forget who directed it off the top of my head, but I know that it was 1998. I
Okay.
forget who directed it. I can do a quick little search while I say. I know another movie that really encapsulated me was The Blues Brothers. My dad grew up big Belushi fan, big SNL fan, loved the Blues Brothers. Was the Blues Brothers, he said, for like 6 or 7 straight Halloweens. And to me, that movie just was like a perfect blend of like comedy and music and so on and so forth that it was just great. And then Ocean's 11 is just, I think, the perfect ensemble cast
I think we
and the
have to do
pacing that was Ocean's 11 was really the first time.
our
Keep
first.
going.
I think what we're gonna do some Barstool castings where we're gonna cast Barstool employees into movies. I think our first movie should be Ocean's
Oh
11.
yeah,
100%.
we got to do it.
100%.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I think I think the biggest thing too for Ocean's 11 for me was it was kind of the first movie that really like the score meant as much as the movie to me because like the score gives you like the heart attack, the anxiety of like, are they going to be able to pull this certain part of the heist off? Are they not? So on and so
That's kind
forth.
of
Like
how I
that was
feel
kind
too. I
of the
mean,
first
a
time
lot of
that like
times,
you truly realize how important the score is.
the music becomes a character, man. It's crucial. It could be it can make or break a movie, definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Definitely agree. And then to answer your question about who directed Truman Show, it's Peter Ware, who also did Dead Poets
Okay.
Society
Peter
and
Weir, yeah. Yeah.
Witness from 1985.
Yes. Witness is great. Did you ever see Witness?
Yeah. For some reason, I was trying to. Witness is so good.
So good.
Witness is so good.
Underrated. Really underrated.
Love Witness. Yeah, really underrated considering like the fact that it's like prime Harrison Ford because it came out 80, 84, 85. So that's still like peak Indiana Jones, peak Han Solo,
Yeah.
starting to go away from those two roles. That's like peak Harrison Ford. And for that to like be such an out of Harrison Ford's like filmography, that's such like an underrated movie.
That takes place in Jeff
Definitely
Nadeau's neck of the
should go
woods.
on to like. Yeah, Amish country, Philly and stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's in
Yeah.
Pennsylvania.
Lan-
I know it's in
like
Pennsylvania,
Lancaster or whatever.
but yeah. No, but now that Joe, Sauce, and I have introduced ourselves and what got us into our love of movies, we're going to go ahead and get right into the main topics for episode 1. And that is going to be, as you see on Joe Sauce's shirt, the Marvel shirt, as well as me with the Spider-Man point shirt. It's going to be superheroes.
Could you name all
It's going
these
to be
guys,
blockbusters. The fact of July is going to be such a massive. Oh, I could easily name all those guys, Joe Sauce. We got Spider-Man, Captain America, Black Panther, Iron Man, Ant-Man with the comic accurate. I'm going to guess that that's Black Widow. You've got Hulk, you've got Falcon, comic accurate suit, where he's got the telepathic connection with the Red Wing. You've got Doctor Strange, Hawkeye, Vision, and Thor. That's easy. This is
for a little bit.
Layup stuff for me, Joe Sauce.
I thought this was Power Man. That's Falcon.
No. Luke Cage never wore a mask. He tried to wear a mask his first couple of issues, but the only time he ever wore a mask was it was like late 70s, but Stan Lee wanted Luke Cage to be like a true hero to his city and let people know he's Luke Cage because
Gotcha.
obviously he became a hero for hire. So he was one of the first superheroes to kind of like be public with his identity.
Gotcha.
But yes, we are talking about blockbusters, and arguably the biggest blockbuster coming out in 2025, July 11th, 2025. We have the new and improved version of James Gunn's DCU Superman. The Superman trailer came out. It's directed by James Gunn. James Gunn obviously has done amazing work with comic book stuff, whether it's the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy, whether it's Peacemaker, as well as Creature Commandos. He's directing and writing it. It's starring David Cornsweet, who is known for The Politician, Hollywood, and Pearl. Really young and up-and-coming actor. Perfect casting, in my opinion. Rachel Brosnahan from Marvelous Miss Maisel is playing Lois Lane. And then Nicholas Hoult, who played Beast in the later, newer X-Men movies, as well as really good movies like The Menu and stuff. He's playing Lex Luthor. So, Joe Sauce, talk to me about your thoughts on the trailer, your thoughts on the cast, your reaction, your hopes for this movie, so on and so forth.
Every now and again, when you watch a superhero movie, you get like I don't know if it's just me, but I know I talked to my friends about this before. You get like a feeling of like wonderment, or you get a feeling like there's like a moment in the movie where you're like, wow, this is good. This is a good superhero movie. I've gotten it with the Dark Knight series. I've gotten it with the Avengers. I got it with Iron Man. You get that feeling that people are going to enjoy this. And I never felt like I love DC. I never felt that with Zack Snyder's universe. I just didn't. I wish I did. There were some moments there that I loved.
No.
Some moments I didn't love, and the rest of it was just blah to me. And I feel like the trailer itself, from an outsider's perspective, is more appealing, I think. But from an insider, like a Marvel fan's perspective, I think it looks comic book accurate. I don't know how much that's going to translate into the movie, but it does look like it's going to be that kind of movie where like you have a feeling of like Superman is people say all the time Superman is not a good character to get hooked to there's no personality behind Superman. So I'm interested to see how James Gunn
Yep.
makes us connect with the character, which I think he can do. I think he can do that. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to see. I'm interested to see how he makes it funny, because James Gunn is huge on humor. All the humor he had at Guardians of the Galaxy. If Guardians of the Galaxy is any tell on how Superman's going to be, I think we're in for a good treat, a good surprise. It's the same with Peacemaker, which was terrific. I think James Gunn. If there's anybody I trust with the DCU, the new DCU, if there's anybody I trust with it, it's James Gunn.
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100% agree. 100% agree on trusting James Gunn. I mean, we literally saw him take a F tier character in Peacemaker, like not even a well-known villain or someone that's
F.
kind of like here and there, like maybe like the Condiment King from the Batman animated series. Like he
Yeah.
took Peacemaker and made it into a phenomenal HBO limited show
Well, yeah,
with John
Guardians.
Cena. As you
Guardians
said too,
were
if any indicator of what he did with the Guardians,
yeah, Guardians were what? They were C, D level.
yeah, Guardians were like B tier.
Okay.
Yeah, C D level. Like Star-Lord and Nebula were C tier. I'd say Groot and Rocket Raccoon as a duo were kind of there, but like Drax, no one cared about Drax.
Yeah.
The only people that really knew about Gamora and stuff was like this and that. It really only tied in because of like Nebula specifically was like the most important one, because in the comics that at one point she's the one that wields the Infinity Gauntlet at one point. The rest of the Guardians of the Galaxy no one really cared about, but the fact that James Gunn turned it into a multi-billion-dollar trilogy where by the third one there were people crying over a CGI raccoon voiced by Bradley Cooper. Him directing Superman is the perfect director for a good director, regardless of love of comics and stuff. James Gunn is a good director, but most importantly, as you have said, James Gunn is such a massive comic book nerd. He cares about the characters. You see it in the way he treated the Guardians. You see it in the way he's treated Superman. One thing I really loved about this trailer was the color. It was super colorful. It was vibrant. It just screams at you. And,
Very bright.
just it's not dark and gloomy like the Zack Snyder DCU and stuff where it's like Superman snapping necks and Batman is shooting guns. That's the one thing Batman does not do is wield a gun or kill people, and that is what Zack Snyder decided to do.
Yeah.
I understand that it's like a kid with a cookie jar. It's like, don't eat a cookie. Well, now he wants to eat a cookie.
If you gave Zack Snyder another Batman movie, he would have been putting Batman in a tank, shooting cannons at his opponents.
He would have been fighting like a zombie Killer Croc in like Clayface, like a Clayface in like Killer Moth combo character and stuff. It's just like I just don't get it, but I do love what James Gunn has planned with Superman. But not just what James Gunn, but I personally love the David Corn Sweat fan casting. I have like
he's a big
posts
dude.
and
I didn't realize
tweets
how
going
big
back
he
to
is.
like mid 2022. Dude, he is 6'4". He is
he's a big dude.
6'4". That
And
is a massive human
I
being.
like the presence. I like the presence he has. Like in Twisters, he had a very, very stoic,
Yeah.
intimidating presence.
Oh, yeah. It's like he was in a show called Hollywood, which takes place. It's like 1920s, 1930s Hollywood, like old school Silver Age Hollywood. And he's got the slick back hair, and he's wearing the suit and like the suspenders and this and that. And you're like, that is like early Clark Kent. Like, we don't need another Henry Cavill Superman Clark Kent. We need something closer to Christopher Reeves.
Yeah.
And I think David Cornsweet is nailing that. It just
Yeah.
looks wise. He's 6'4". He's a handsome dude. He's only like 33, so he can be in the role forever.
But
I
like again,
love the casting.
the challenge is making the audience connect to Superman, which is going to be hard to do. You know, we don't have much in
Yeah.
common with the guy who could,
No, I agree, but
fly and see through people and
I
could fucking
I think at the
destroy you
same
with
time,
lasers.
yeah, no, that's totally fair, but I do like the fact that in like the first shot of the trailer, we see Superman beat up and bloodied, where he's like whistling for his superpowered dog
Yeah.
to come save him.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, here's a guy, as you said, we can't really relate to this dude that can like lift a mountain, fly at the almost the speed of light and shoot laser beams. But there he is in the first 5 seconds of the trailer, laying down, beat up and bloodied. Like, it's
Yeah.
humanizing him in a way. And I just love the casting. But what do you think about Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor? Let me hear your thoughts about that.
I think it's going to be great. I think he's a great actor. You know, I think
Yeah.
he has a lot of range. He was great in. Did you see Nosferatu?
Yes. Yes.
So, and I feel like
Very good in those
he
Ferratu.
has the
Really
chops.
also enjoyed him in The Menu.
Yes, he's good in the menu also.
No, I agree. And I do think it's interesting that the reason Nicholas Hoult became Lex Luthor is he was the runner-up to David Cornsweet for Superman. And in 2021, he was the runner-up to Robert Pattinson for Batman. So James Gunn was like, "Hey, you're a good enough actor that you're getting called for all these stuff. Why?"
Yeah, yeah. I wish. Part of me wishes they would bring Pattinson into this DCU, but I feel like he might be getting too old. I guess they might want to go younger, or are they going to go older? I don't know because he said Brave and the Bold, and that's like a later on comic, isn't it? I mean,
So, to be fair, Brave and the Bold is Damian Wayne as Robin. Damian
yeah,
Wayne is in the comics. He's about 9 to 12 years
but
old,
that's a later on
and
comic. Like
because
Batman's
Talia
older at
al
that point.
Ghul, yeah. But to be fair, I think that the way James Gunn, because he has openly said that he's not going middle-aged Batman, I think that the way he's going about, which is kind of was rebranded in the New 52 comic iteration, was instead of having Batman be Batman for a couple years and then Talia al Ghul improperly impregnate herself with Batman's seed, and then like go on to be Damian Wayne. I think James Gunn's plan is to basically, when Bruce Wayne is training with Ra's al Ghul from the very beginning, that he goes and leaves, and Talia al Ghul does that at the very beginning, as opposed to Bruce Wayne comes, he goes be Batman a few years, then Damian is born, then he's Batman more,
I
as
got you.
opposed to like, hey, she's like, before you go leave and become this, I'm gonna make sure I'm like giving myself a kid. Um,
So you think
So I
Damien is
do think
gonna?
that too, like
You think Damien will be the first Robin?
so I think Damien is going to be the Robin introduced, and I do kind of like that because my next talking point was exactly what do you hope with James Gunn as far as Batman goes. So I will say this as far as Batman goes for James Gunn. Batman is my second favorite superhero ever behind Spider-Man. I do think it is much, much, much easier to start off with a mid 30s to 40-year-old Batman who's a seasoned Batman who's seen some shit, who's gone through some shit, this and that, and have Damian Wayne be that first DCU Robin because we have three significant comic characters that were Robin before Damian Wayne. That way, we don't have to have Dick Grayson and then him be Robin and then him turn into Nightwing. That way, we don't have to get Jason Todd and then him, become Robin and then get killed by the Joker. That way, we don't have to have Tim Drake and then he leaves and goes to the Teen Titans and becomes Red Robin. I think it's very much easier to say this Batman has already gone through those three Robins so that A, Dick Grayson can already be Nightwing, B, Jason Todd can already be dead so that he can become Red Hood, and that way Tim Drake is already
Red Hood.
kind of like the Red Robin in his own way and allow Damian Wayne to come in. Yeah. Yeah, like Jason Todd comes back as Red Hood, and then Tim Drake is so shaken up by it that he leaves and original name for him. Instead of being Robin, he goes by Red Robin. So I do think it's much, much easier to already have a pre-established Batman. Like, we all know the origin of Batman. I love that Matt Reeves didn't do that, where we're like, we need to see them leaving the Zorro movie or the play, and then Joe Chill comes in the alley, and then some training montage. Like, give us it's the same way that we all know that Uncle Ben dies for Spider-Man. We already know it. Just go ahead and give us a already established Batman who's already gone through a good amount of his rogues gallery, who already seen some shit, who's already been through three Robins, that'll also allow those three Robins to already be established and give us Damian Wayne. So how do you feel, and what are your hopes for James Gunn's Batman?
I just hate having multiple Batmans going on at the same time. That's just me. I wish they could just focus on one or the other. Like, I get there's Elseworlds, I get there's Earth One and all this. Obviously we're able to read different comics and understand they take place in different Earths. Like, I read Earth One. Earth One was terrific. But I feel like
Yep.
I don't want them to. I don't want them to be going on the same time. So either bring Pattinson in, or wrap up Pattinson with a part two and then dead it, or bring him in. And that's really what I don't want them to be the Batman going on while also Batman being in the DCU. Like, to me, it's just, I think it's counterintuitive because I think you're making people argue with each other which one's better, and I think I think James Gunn knows that, and I think they're going to try to either delay the Batman introduction until Reeves is done with the second one, or they're talking right now about how they could bring Pattinson into the Gunn DCU. But I think Gunn, with his Batman, I think it will be more grounded, more of a not as grounded as Nolan's Batman, but a more grounded Batman than the Batman from the Schumacher days, or more like a year one Batman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely can see that. Definitely agree with that. It does. Look, I definitely understand your point about wanting to bring Pattinson in, but at the same time, if it's two good Batmans, I'm not going to complain. I will be there.
Oh, I'll
But
be
at the
there.
end of the day,
That's not a
I
question.
definitely
I'm gonna watch. I'm
understand
gonna
that,
watch it
and I
regardless.
do agree about it being grounded. Yeah, But so now that we've talked about Superman and now that we've talked about Batman, we're just gonna do two quick little like sentences and stuff on Supergirl and Lantern. So Supergirl is being directed by Craig Gillespie, who they've already started filming. Craig Gillespie directed I, Tonya and Cruella. It's starring Millie Alcock from House of Dragon and Jason Momoa as Lobo. How how exactly are you feeling about Supergirl, Joe Sauce?
I love the Lobo casting. That's a tremendous casting. I think Momoa wanted to play him from the very beginning, which is a perfect casting. Um, Gillespie directing Supergirl is a great choice because both I, Tanya, and what was the other movies mentioned?
Cruella.
Cruella. Both of those had leading women actors, and they both had big character arcs in those movies, and they were great. I love both of those movies. So I think
Yeah.
well he'll be able to get us to connect to Supergirl in a way that the CW wasn't able to.
I definitely agree. I think the Millie Alcock casting and I think Jason Momoa casting, I think that
Yeah,
those that's
I love
two
Millie.
home
Millie was
runs
great.
right
Millie's
there.
great.
I think that those are amazing castings. So I'm glad that you're pretty optimistic about Supergirl just like me. But now Lanterns. It's starring Aaron Pierre, who is John Stewart, who we know from Rebel Ridge, and Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan from AKA Coach uh the football coach from Friday Night Lights. And they just recently cast their villain, Ulrich Thompson, a Danish actor that was in the really, really good Anthony Starr show Banshee as Sinestro. It's being titled as like a true detective, space cop type of thing, where Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan is going to kind of show Aaron Pierre's John Stewart the ropes. And we already know that Nathan Fillion is playing Guy Gardner in Superman, so we might see a little bit of him. How do you feel about Lanterns? How do you feel about the casting? Tell me,
So
Joe
Green
Sauce.
Lantern is one of my favorite DC comics that I've read. Um, I like the casting of Pierre. I think he was also Mufasa, right?
Yes, he voiced
Yeah.
Mufasa in the new Mufasa
Yeah,
movie. Bad movie,
he has the look. I mean,
good for him.
he has the look, and he has the acting chops, as we saw at Rebel Ridge. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be interesting. I've always been a bigger Hal Jordan guy than I have been a John Stewart guy. But Stewart's interesting. Stewart
Mm,
in the comics,
okay.
especially, has no personality. He has zero. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think they
Yeah.
have to change him a little bit. Maybe have him a little bit, be a little more quippy here and there. You know, add some humor to him a little bit. Um, I know Chandler's a veteran actor, so it's going to be interesting to see how he is as Hal Jordan. I guess it's going to be like more of a coaching thing, right? He's going to kind of coach him as the new Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Are you optimistic or?
Yeah. It's like buddy cop. It's the so I'm it's funny that you said you're more Hal Jordan because I'm more John Stewart. And I think that
Okay.
that's mainly because my generation and my age group grew up with the animated Justice League and Justice
I
League
like the way you say
Unlimited show
Stewart too.
where they used John Stewart, voiced by the legendary Phil Lamar, as the main Green Lantern. Yeah, I've got a little
What do you? How do
pronunciations
so
of stuff.
you
I've
say
got a
like
little funny, but John Stewart
you say
in
like
the
the guys
way that
from
he was portrayed in
you say how like Ebo says it and like Blutman says it like you Stewart.
yeah, yeah, no, I do. I if it's Stew, I really pronounce that Stewart. But if it's like Stewart Little, it's just a quick Stewart. It's
But
like Stort. That's the way I kind of pronounce it. But
John Stewart is a
um,
W, isn't it?
yeah, and I say John Stewart.
Oh, okay, you are.
Stupid.
But when you say it fast, when you
Instead of
say it fast, you
stort.
say
I
when
go
you
like
say it fast, you
stort.
say
I
stort.
go like
When you say it fast, you say stort with an O.
I do.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, either way, John Stewart. That's
yeah.
the Green Lantern I prefer, which is funny
Okay.
that you said that you prefer Hal Jordan because, like I said, I grew up with the animated Justice League and show, Justice League Unlimited, and he was the main Green Lantern in that. And in that, he kind of showed that he had some quippiness, that he wasn't this like marine hard ass, this and that. And I think that that's going to show very, very well with Aaron Pierre because as we saw in Rebel Ridge, he played this like military hard ass guy, and I do think that like him bouncing off of Kyle Chandler's Hal Jordan is going to be like, hey, this job isn't that serious. Like, lighten up, this and that. Like, you don't need to be all like, we've got to live by the book 24/7. Make my bed every morning. Like, no David Goggins type stuff. He's going to be like, you can lay back every now and
Yeah,
then.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for Lanterns. So, Sauce, before we move on to the next movie, just hit me with it. What is your optimism going into Superman? Like a rating scale, a word, this or that? Like, how do you feel about Superman?
I'm pretty optimistic about it. I don't know about you. I mean, I think that like we said before, I trust Gunn. I mean, I don't want to put
Yeah.
too much stock. I don't want to put too much stock into it because because it's Superman, it has this bad aura around it that no one can make a good Superman movie. But I don't know. If there's anybody that could do it, it's Gunn. I mean, that's my opinion. I think you have to believe in Gunn. Believe in Gunn.
Yeah. I think at the end of the day, like, yeah, until Gunn proves us wrong, I'll be a 10 out of 10 highest optimistic possible until he
Because when in
proves us
when in
wrong.
doubt,
But
when in
now that
doubt,
we have
a
talked
gun is gonna
DC,
kill it. A gun's gonna kill.
there we go.
A gun is always gonna
There we
kill.
go. We've got the tagline going from Joe Sauce. A gun is always gonna kill. But
A gun's always
Sauce,
gonna kill.
now that we've talked DC, we're both wearing Marvel shirts.
That's true.
And Marvel just dropped within the
They've
last
just been on a better roll,
week and a half, an incredible trailer in Fantastic Four. So Fantastic Four is coming out July 25th, 2025. It's being directed by Matt Shackman. Shackman, I think that's how you say his name. He's previously directed WandaVision. He's done a few episodes of Game of Thrones and a few episodes of Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And of course, the Fantastic Four are being played by Pedro Pascal, from Gladiator to from The Mandalorian, from The Last of Us. He's playing Reed Richards. Vanessa Kirby from Napoleon and from the Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, as well as Rogue Nation and Dead Reckoning movie, is playing Sue Storm. Ebon Moss-Baccarat from The Bear and Punisher is playing Ben Grimm the Thing, and Joseph Quinn, also from Gladiator 2 and Stranger Things, is playing the Human Torch. Joe Sauce, this is one of the more recent trailers we've had come out. We've had some time to digest Superman, but look, we're both Marvel guys. Hit me with how you're feeling about Fantastic Four, thoughts on the trailers, thoughts on the cast, what you're hoping to look for, this and that.
I mean, I like the trailer. It's very comic book accurate. Did you ever? I don't know if you did. You ever read First Family?
Yes.
I love that
Yes,
book.
I did.
I love that book, and I think they do a good job of.
I believe I did.
They do a good job in that book of making the family feel like a family, something that they weren't able to do in the previous iterations of Fantastic Four. You know what I mean? A little bit here and there, but between Torch and Thing always arguing, fighting, and Reed playing the dad role. I wasn't too happy with Pedro Pascal being cast at first. I kind of wanted somebody more on the lines of Quinn, Ibn Moss, and Kirby, someone who was on the up rather than somebody who was already there. But he's been in so many things. It's hard to look past him as Pedro Pascal. So it's hard to see a movie and just say, "Oh, that's Pedro Pascal playing that character," rather than, "Okay, this is a new actor playing this role. Now I see him as this role." Um, but I feel like he will do a good job. I think he's a great actor, so it's you can't deny his acting chops. Um, but I'm optimistic about it because
Yeah.
every Marvel fan's always optimistic about about all about these movies, and until I'm proven to prove otherwise, I trust I trust. I guess we haven't proven otherwise when we talk about Marvel, but I don't know. I feel like this might be the next step in getting out of the multiverse, but I think they're going to use this movie as a stepping stone of getting out of the multiverse because I think it's going to have to do a lot with the multiverse, if that makes sense. Um, but I don't know. I have faith. I still have faith until Marvel like goes on a 5 or 6 movie bender of just straight trash. Um, I have faith, and with the actors that signed on, I feel like they have a good shot at making this, a great movie.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree mainly about your Pedro Pascal take. When the cast was announced, that actually kind of was the one I was least excited for. I love Pedro Pascal, obviously big Star Wars guy, love The Last of Us. Everything he does, I just adore and I'm a big fan of, and I think he's a phenomenal actor. I don't know if he exactly screamed Reed Richards to me the same way that, like you said, Kirby, Ebon Moss, and Joseph Quinn scream their characters. But I have faith in Pedro Pascal. The trailer kind of made it seem like he's being more of like so early Reed Richards, where he's like the loving, trying to find a cure for his best friend, as opposed to like the ignorant, like knows he's the smartest man in the room, so doesn't really care about the rest of anyone else. Like more like Illuminati Reed, or like later on like Hickman's run and stuff. Um, but I do have faith in Pedro Pascal. I absolutely adore the Ebon Moss Baccarat casting. I think that is a perfect Ben Grimm. The Thing in the trailer looks amazing. I know some
Amazing.
people were like roasting him over his like eyebrow. He looks
No, I love it.
exactly the way
Yeah.
Jack Kirby drew him. And
Yep.
to me, that is perfect because Jack Kirby, when he drew and wrote The Thing, he was drawing and writing basically himself. Because Ben Grimm is a Jewish New Yorker that views himself as a monster, and Jack Kirby is a Jewish New Yorker who at times viewed himself as a monster. So to me, that was honestly the most important casting, because you know that like you have to have a very important portrayal um, convene through the CGI and convene through the like special effects, practical effects. Like they're looking more for like, I know he's getting a lot more lines and a lot more speaking, but like something along the lines of like Andy Serkis as Caesar, where yes, I'm not comparing the thing to Caesar, but that was an all powerful, amazing performance, largely done by CGI that conveyed through the CGI. And I think Ibn Mas Baccarat is going to be amazing. Love Quinn, love Kirby. Kirby's partner, boyfriend, fiance,
And the
whatever, Paul
Fantastic
Rabel has
Four,
been on the yak,
the
which
Fantastic Four is
both of
so
us are
hard to
wearing their
do
hats. And then my final point.
because oh, yeah, finish what you're saying.
Oh, 100%. My final point was just I love that it's family oriented, and then Galactus looks amazing.
He does look great. The CGI looks great. And like I had questions about, his size and stuff. And I remember you said that he does change in size. So that's fine. But there's 5 things with Fantastic Four movies that have to be done
Yep.
right. That's getting the depth of 4 main characters. All have to get the depth of them perfectly right. And the fifth thing is they have to make the family feel like a family, which is important. And then you have the villain. So there's 6 things you have to make sure you nail to make sure you have a good Fantastic Four movie, which is hard to do. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not they can do it. I'm assuming it's going to be a long runtime. I don't know if the runtime came out yet or not, but it's hard to do. So hopefully it works, and I'm praying and hoping.
It hasn't come out, but I'm assuming 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Yeah, but we'll see. I think there was rumors about the plot.
Yeah, I would
Apparently,
say
people think that they're going to be jumping from. They got lost. They're from the main MCU, but they got lost in the main MCU, and now they're trying to find their way back through different multiverses. That's what I heard the rumor is, and that's when they come across different things and eventually come across the Doom in a different multiverse before they get to the real MCU. That's what the rumor is. So
I mean I like that rumor. Me and my brain, the way I want it is I want this Fantastic Four to already be pre-existing and have nothing to do with the MCU until after Galactus comes. I want them to be their own world, their own thing, this and that. I don't want them to have any interaction until my dream is that this is a Fantastic Four that because of Reed Richards' intelligence, that's why it's so technologically advanced despite it being the 60s, that they're already pre-existing, that it looks like John Malkovich is playing it looks like he's playing Red Ghost, a famous Fantastic Four villain that could literally control superpowered apes. Paul Walter Hauser's supposed to be
Mole
in this.
Man.
I'm guessing that he's probably going to be playing Mole Man. Yep. And then so I want them to be pre-existing, already gone through stuff. And what I'm hoping for,
well, because chronologically,
is
they're in the comic
RDJ's Doom
chronology.
exists,
They
and there it's
come
a dying world.
Captain America, Iron Man, then them, right?
For Marvel,
Yeah,
like the comic
like the
history?
comic not when they came out, like the comic chronology of like time period. Like it's Captain America, Iron Man, Fantastic Four, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's Captain America was originally when Marvel was still Timely Comics, when they did not have Stan Lee was still barely working there. He was a writer. He was still going by Stanley Lieber. They had Captain America, Bucky, and Namor the Submariner already pre-existing. Stan Lee then
We're
becomes
gonna have to come
Marvel.
back and do a
He
whole
does
Marvel history lesson
Fantastic
because
Four.
we could go on for an hour about this.
Yep, definitely. Definitely. But at the end of the day, my dream is that this Fantastic Four already exists. RDJ's Doom is in their universe. Galactus senses that their universe is dying. He comes and eats their world. So the 4 of them in RDJ's Doom go to the MCU timeline. And that's when RDJ's Doom is like, our world died because of your ignorance and because you didn't like you miscalculated it wrong, this and that. Like, I am going to not only take over this universe, but I'm going to take over the multiverse now that we know the multiverse exists.
I like that. I like that too.
But I'm
I do like
super
that.
pumped for this movie. And now, since we're on the topic of Marvel, how do you feel about Captain America: A Brave New World, and how do you feel about Thunderbolts?
Brave New World, I'm hopefully optimistic. I'm excited to see Red Hulk. I heard there's not much of him in it. I do want more of the old Hulk back. I hope one day we get World War Hulk. That'll be amazing. Thunderbolts looks awesome. Thunderbolts looks awesome. I'm excited for Thunderbolts. I love Bucky. I love Florence Pugh. I love David Harbour. They all look great. Excited for that. Big time excited for that. Yeah, I'm hopefully optimistic about Brave New World. I mean, you said did you, so what did give me the very bottom. You saw it. I'm gonna see it tomorrow. Give me the bottom level of spoiler where there's no spoilers. Just how did you think it was standard wise? Was it up to par of how it was pre Endgame?
I would say so. I'm not going to give this any form of rating, so that way it doesn't take away from whether people think it's going to be really bad or think it's going to be really good. I think it does recapture a bit of the pre-Endgame MCU. I think that it's an even further step. It's the first stepping stone in the rest of the movies, even further recapturing it. Like
That's good.
Brave New
That's good to
World
hear.
recaptures that pre-Endgame feel. So I think with Thunderbolts coming next and then Fantastic Four coming after that, I think that those two continue on the path that Captain America Brave New World gave them by continuing to recapture more and more of that pre-Endgame. Okay, this is like a movie. This isn't just a comic book movie. This is a movie. So I really liked Brave New World. That's the last thing I'm going to say about Brave New World before I reveal anything, before I give anything else away. As you said, I'm super excited for Thunderbolts. Love, love, love Florence Pugh. Love Bucky, Sebastian Stan, Wyatt Russell. I love ever since Everybody Wants Some. Um, the like 80s movie takes place in the 80s, but I am much much more excited for to see Lewis Pullman's Century. I am so freaking pumped to see Century.
Interesting. Interesting.
So what do you know about Century uh pre
So
Thunderbolts, or what
I
do you know about
I
Century in general?
all I know about Century, I know very little about Century. All I know is that he was part of like the armor wars, right? Like he's kind of is he part of that? Is he like War Machine, like kind of off a spin-off of War Machine in a way, or no?
So Century is the Marvel Superman. Let's
Okay.
put that out there. He
Okay.
literally like his line is that he has the power of a billion burning suns. Sentry is one of the 5 to 10 physically strongest Marvel characters, so
So
much so that at one point he flicked the Hulk and sent the Hulk to the moon.
so they're gonna have to downgrade him a little bit then, right? They can't make him be this almighty power.
So the biggest thing about Sentry is not just that he has this power, but he is a mentally damaged human being. He's gone through some government testing. He's gone through some mind wipes. Think like Bucky pre like Wakanda saving him when it's like the trigger words, but like imagine an even more like schizophrenic, psychotic, scrambled mind in a guy that like can launch the Hulk to the moon and fly. But the biggest thing about the Sentry 2 is that he has an alternate persona that he keeps within him, almost like a dark side, but it's called the Void. And the Void is this all powerful, omniscient being. It's almost like order and chaos within one person, which is one reason he goes a little crazy. And in the trailer, when you see Sentry's hand go like this and people go like turn into a shadow, that's the Void.
Oh, cool. It's cool. Excited for that. Really excited for that. Now I don't know if
So
you
I'm pretty pumped for
do you wanna do you want to save the Justice League? We're coming up to an hour. Do you want to save the Justice League draft for next week, and we could do the queue now?
So how about this? The movie that we were planning on doing last, let's do that in a different episode.
Okay.
Since
Sounds
we're
good.
on the topics of superheroes, let's just do a quick the draft and then the queue. So for all of our listeners and watchers, we did have a third movie that we were planning on talking about, but this is pretty
We, wa-
much
we,
a
we want to keep
comic
it. We want to
oriented
keep it
for
to an
episode
hour. You know what
one.
I'm saying? We don't
So
want to
now,
get.
yeah,
And we will
exactly.
talk about. We will talk about
So
other
now
movies
Joe
besides
Sauce and I
superhero. We're
are
very
going to
superhero
do.
heavy right now.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It's just superhero. It's the summer of superheroes.
Yeah.
All those trailers came out.
Yep,
We're going
yep.
to cover the other movie that we were going
Yep.
to cover in a different episode. But now Joe
Yep.
Sauce and I are going to move into a draft. So we each get 5 selections for a Justice League that we want to see in James Gunn's DCU. Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are already a given. So the three of us, our teams each already get Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman, and we get 5 picks. Joe Sauce, I'm gonna let you. Do you want to do this snake draft style or 1-1?
No, 1-on-1. 1-on-1. All right. So I guess I have to go.
Okay,
I mean,
so I will let you pick first.
okay. I can't pass up, which is probably the number 4 out of that Justice League, and that's the Flash. I mean, I just hope that they are able to get the Flash, Barry Allen, down to a T. I don't know if you like the CW version of him. I like the CW version. I think it was
Yep.
a little bit too PG.
First couple seasons. First couple seasons I like.
Yeah. I do think Barry Allen is a little more sarcastic and a little more cynical. Maybe they could get that better with the next iteration. I didn't love the way Ezra Miller portrayed him, but hopefully James could nail him. So Flash.
Yeah, I mean that was my 1-1. If you didn't take that, I was going to laugh and take that, but I am going to take my second favorite DC character of all time and one that I am always so
Wait, can I
pissed
guess? Can I
when
guess?
they
Can I
leave
guess?
out of stuff.
Can I
And
guess?
I'm going to take
Can I guess?
By all means.
I
By all
think
means.
I think you're
Go
gonna
ahead.
go with Martian Manhunter.
Yes. I'm going Martian Manhunter. I'm going John Jones. I
knew it.
love Martian
knew
Manhunter
it.
so much. He's so overpowered. He's so underrated.
He's great.
I love Martian Manhunter. Please give us Martian Manhunter.
I love him
So
too.
I went Martian Manhunter. Your next pick, who are you going to take, Joe Sauce?
I mean, I can't pass. How do I pass this guy up? I mean, how do I gotta take Lantern. I can't pass him up. Having Flash
Which
and
one?
Lantern. That's fine. I'll take Hal Jordan. So you want to take the other Lantern? That's fine. I'll take Hal Jordan. I'm a big fan of Green Lantern. I can't pass up the original Justice League foursome. I mean, it expands past that, but I feel like Flash and Green Lantern can hold their own as characters as much as Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman can if they're done right. So I'm going for Green Lantern, my number 2 pick.
So my number 2 pick, I will not pick any other Green Lantern because I think that is too cliche.
Okay.
I am going to go with someone that please make him speak Shakespearean. Don't make him some bumbling drunk. Please just give us a good Aquaman. I'm going Aquaman. I think he's slept on. Just give us a good Aquaman. He's a founding member. I get it. Oh, he can talk to fishes and stuff. Please give us I love that Jason Momoa in terms of like doing a Polynesian, Pacific Islander, Samoan and stuff, but like make him kingly. Don't make him some like drunk party animal. Give us a good Aquaman.
There used to be this website called comicbookmovies.com, and I used to do fan casting blogs. And I did a Justice League way back when, like when Avengers first came out, like back in 2012. And I did a Justice League fan casting, and I wrote a whole plot of a movie for Justice League, and I casted I'm getting a blank. The guy from Sons of Anarchy. What's his name? Hunnam.
Charlie Hunnam. Charlie Hunnam.
Yes. I casted him as like this rebellious, um, take no shit Aquaman, and I think he would have been perfect. I want to see them go back to the blonde hair Aquaman with more grit. I don't want to see them do another Mediterranean version of Thor. I wanted to see the jacked, gritty, bold, no taking no bullshit Aquaman from the comic books.
Yeah, no, that's fair. So, who are you going to take with your third pick?
So my third pick, I'm going with a favorite of mine from the comics, not so much the show, Green Arrow. I think he has a lot of.
Shit.
I I think he's better than Hawkeye. I think he has more personality than Hawkeye. I think he's the show I loved in the beginning, but I think
Oh,
him and Flash, they have that riff with each other. I think they'll be good together. Um, he's more of a problematic character, has a lot of problems with himself. I think that's needed. So yeah, Green Arrow.
you completely, totally sniped that from me. I was planning on picking Green
Yeah,
Arrow because with this pick, I was hoping to get both of them on my team. I'm gonna go Green Arrow's longtime girlfriend, wife. I'm gonna go Black Canary. I was
nice.
hoping to just go super
Which
cliche and
one?
be like,
Which
give
one?
me give me DC better version of Hawkeye and Black Widow. I'm gonna go with the original OG Black Canary, the one that's always with Green Arrow, and go with Dinah Lance. I know like Laurel Lance, but like it gets really confusing because of like the
Her
Justice
mom.
Society. But I'm going with the stereotypical Black Canary as we know her and stuff. But I'm
Okay,
going
so the
to
so the,
Black
the daughter
Canary. You
then.
totally sniped Green Arrow away from me. Like I said, I wanted to. Yes, yes, yes. I always get the names mixed up, but I'm going daughter. I'm going daughter, Green Arrow, girlfriend one. I'm not going Justice Society, Black Canary.
Okay.
But you sniped Green Arrow from me. So who are you going to take with your fourth pick, Joe Sauce?
So for my fourth pick, I am going with a little later addition to the Justice League. I'm going to go with Nightwing. I think that it doesn't get better than
Hmm.
Batman and Nightwing working together. That's
Okay.
a dynamic I need to see on the big screen. It's something that we've been missing from film. Having a Robin with some balls, for lack of a better word. And I think Nightwing brings that, and I think he'll have a good dynamic with the team. And yeah, going Nightwing.
I love it. My next pick, I am going to go with someone extremely underrated. We need another woman on this team. We can't just have Black Canary and Wonder Woman being in a sausage party. I'm going to go with the backwards spelling magic user. I'm going to go with Zatanna.
I knew you were going there. I knew it. I like Zatanna. Love Zatanna.
I figured this team needs some magic. You gotta go Zatanna. I was thinking some other characters, but I think Zatanna, I think her and like Black Canary and Wonder Woman could do like a really, really good like women dynamic of like, hey, like, you hear like Martian Manhunter and Aquaman and Superman and Batman just being like, "Oh, watch out, I will save you," and they're just like, "Dude, we got this."
That's like that was like a that was like a turbo that was like a
who
Turbo
are you
Man
gonna
voice.
go with your last pick, Joe Sauce? Yeah.
So I'm gonna go. I need some femininity in my team also. So femininity. I'm gonna go with Hawk Girl,
Girl power, girl power.
girl power. I'm gonna go with Hawk Girl.
Okay.
I just think she's somebody who's a good side character. We have a lot of leads on this team, so I think we need a good side character to bring some drama to the squad. Maybe be a love interest for Nightwing. Yeah, Hawk Girl.
Yeah, I like that. She was obviously in the animated Justice League show. We also are seeing Hawk Girl in the Superman movie, so I think that sets up perfectly. Now for my last pick, the last pick in the Justice League draft, I am going with my favorite DC character of all time, the alcoholic, chain smoking, overcoat wearing British scumbag known as John Constantine.
Wow. Was Constantine ever in the? Well, he was in Justice League Dark, wasn't he?
I love John Constantine. Um, he's my favorite. I've just
But he was
always
Justice League
liked
Dark,
him.
no?
He and Zatanna have a history, so I think like bringing he was Justice League Dark, but like he's a pretty big mover that I think in my mind, my Justice League team, they run into like some magical things. Zatanna's like, I know a guy, and Batman is like, no, not him. Do we really have to call him? And it cuts to like them walking into a pub, and you just see drunk John Constantine being like, pour me another, smoking his cigarette, and then all of a sudden he does some magic and whatever. I love John Constantine so much so that all four major writers that have written for John Constantine have all claimed to actually have met him in person. So I love John Constantine. We do not talk about the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie. It's Constantine. We do not talk about that movie. That is my Justice League thing. So Joe Sauce, recap us with who your Justice League lineup is. I'll recap them with mine, and then we'll get into the queue.
I got Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman. Then I have Flash, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Nightwing, and Hawk Girl.
Okay. That's a good squad. I have Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman were the givens. So I have Martian Manhunter, Aquaman, Black Canary, Zatanna, and John Constantine. So now we are going to wrap up the show with our last segment.
It's going a little more dark.
A little more magical.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little more magical, a little more dark.
Yeah.
But now we are going to wrap up episode 1 of our last segment. It's called The Queue. We're going to talk about what we've been like really quick. Just name stuff that you've been watching, name stuff you're excited to see, and give a recommendation. Joe Sauce, what is your queue?
So funny enough, the odds of this is pretty funny. I'm rewatching The Penguin, which is phenomenal. If you haven't watched The Penguin, even if you're not a superhero fan, watch The Penguin. Penguin is phenomenal. It's a great show. There are times where it gets a little cartoony, but it stays pretty grounded. Great show. I just finished Creature Commandos, which was terrific. I'm caught up on Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which has been pretty good. I've just watched in theaters. I watched Presence, which was okay. You can see my Letterboxd review. It was pretty good. It's about a it's from the ghost point of view of a ghost that's haunting a family. I saw One of Them Days with SZA and Kiki Palmer, which was okay. It wasn't really for me. It had some funny moments. I could see how it could be really funny for people who are into that genre. Um, I did like it. I didn't love it. I think I gave it 2 out of 5 stars, so it wasn't great in my opinion. And then I also saw, what did I see? Um, there's one more I saw. Shit, I forgot. But come back to me. What is so what's on your list right now? Or your queue?
So you said I've been watching Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. I've really enjoyed the style, and my favorite thing about it is Coleman Domingo voicing Norman Osborn because there's no way a white
He's
man has
great.
ever had waves like that. So I love that they made the
He's
Osborns
great.
African American.
I could see him
And
as
Coleman Domingo,
a
he kind
live
of sounds
action
like
too.
Willem Dafoe a bit. He kind of
I could
sounds
see him
like
as
Willem
live
Dafoe.
action. Yeah, he'd be a great
Yeah,
live
he
action
sounds like
Osborn.
Willem Dafoe.
He'd be a great live action Osborn. 100%.
Yeah. Um, I love Coleman Domingo as it. I've been watching Invincible. The only first 4 episodes of season 3 have dropped. I grew up reading those comics. Love it. Stephen Yeun, Seth Rogen, Gillian Jacobs, J.K. Simmons. Just phenomenal animation, phenomenal voice acting. And then I recently just watched Swingers, the Jon Favreau Vince Vaughn movie. Loved it. First time I ever watched it.
Great movie.
Loved it. Understood
Have
why
you
Jon
have you
Favreau
seen
kind of
Made?
became the
Have you seen Made?
director he is. That's on my list. That is on my list.
Made's good too. Made's really good.
Made is on my list.
It's not as good as Swingers, but
I'm
it's good.
planning on watching it soon. I will definitely bump that up on my queue. But then the last thing I've been watching, uh, every year I rewatch certain franchises. Right now, I'm going through my Indiana Jones rewatch of those movies. I love the Indiana Jones movies so much so that whenever I get married, I'm going to try to convince my future wife for our one of our sons' middle names to be Indiana, so it can be whatever
Nice.
name Indiana Jones, and he can go by
Nice.
Indy Jones.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what's been in my queue.
All right, so
Joe Sauce,
I
tell
remember
everybody where to find you at, where to follow you on.
I
Our
remember what it
letterboxed.
was. Severance. If you're not watching Severance, binge the first season and get caught up on the second season or third season because Severance is a phenomenal show. It is phenomenal. It will grip you by the balls or vagina. It will grip you by the by the genitals and not let you go. It is a great show. And also Movie Wreck, Strange Darling. If you haven't seen Strange Darling yet, see Strange Darling. It was underrated for last year. It didn't get nominated for everything. It should have been nominated for something. It is a top 5 movie of the year for me. Love Strange Darling. So watch that if you get a chance. It's worth the rent. It's right now you can only rent it for $5. It's worth the rental. Strange Darling. You can find me at Joe Sauce 22 on Twitter. Letterbox, the same thing. Watchlist Pod, Still Breakdown, all of it. Follow us.
Yeah, my movie recommendation I would say is Ready Player One. I love that movie, Steven Spielberg. Everything going on with AI nowadays, metaverse, this and that. I think it's very prevalent. Um, Great movie. Steven Spielberg does it again. Phenomenal movie. You'll see so many pop culture references, this and that. You can follow me at Reed Malcolm J on X, the Everything app, as well as the Read Watchables on Letterbox. Are both my Letterbox and Joe Sauce's Letterbox will be in the description, linked below. And then please,
Can
if
you
you haven't already, please subscribe to Barstool Breakdown. This is where you will find all the Watchlist podcast episodes, barstoolbreakdown.com for all blogs.
Can you twist your mustache up or no? Does it go up? Like, can you twist the ends up?
Not really. I'm
Let me see
almost there.
how
I
far
can
can you
go a
twist it
little
up?
more like French with it. I can go full rolly fingers.
You can't get like the evil villain.
This is
like
groundbreaking podcasting right here. No,
Oh,
I
yeah,
just,
look
I
at that.
just,
There
if
you
I
go.
got it wet, I can. I
That's what
just,
she said.
I just trimmed it a little bit.
I could almost twist my
But
eyebrows up. They don't.
now
my
I feel like
my eyebrows
what's
go
his
up.
name from Princess Bride.
My eyebrows twist up a little bit.
But yeah, that is it, everybody. Thank you for watching and enjoying the Watchlist Podcast, episode 1. Like I said, you can follow us on everything that you find. Our letterbox and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, will be in the description. And we will be back for episode 2. Joe Sauce, send us out with a Viva.
Viva!